Bhavna from Z Business. With Budget 2025 just around the corner, we are gearing up to give you the latest trends and insights. In this session of Budget Bucket List, we will dive into Anita Rangan's key predictions and expectations from the upcoming Union Budget. Anita Rangan is an economist at Equirius Group. Hello, Anita.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
So let's start with what are your key expectations from the upcoming budget in the sectors like manufacturing, agriculture, and services?
For this budget, irrespective of the sectors, I would say the focus of the budget should be on jobs, income growth, productivity, and which is aided by capital investments. So, see, whichever sector we look at, be say agriculture, investments, services, or manufacturing, these are the sectors that are going to be growth enablers. Say for agri, there are a lot of reforms required, but there is a limited amount of resources available. So we should look at these. We should look at whatever the budget is allocating. It should be aimed at generating growth and jobs and incomes. So manufacturing also, there is a lot that can be done through PLI, incentivizing capex and so on. Again, in services, what is lagging is the animal spirits in terms of capex, in terms of roads, railways, transport, warehousing, public infrastructure, and so on. So these are the areas of focus which should be there in the budget 2025.
Okay, so as we know, HMPV cases are rising in India. Do you think concern over HMPV are overblown from an economic perspective?
From what we understand and read in the media about this virus is that this is not a new virus in the first place. And given that the world has traveled through pandemic and so on, this should not be like a source of concern. What I think is India and even rest of the world has preparedness for such kind of viruses. And from again what we read, it's not as sinister and it's not a cause of worry. So I think the economic impact of such kind of flu instances will be very, very limited. I don't think it's a different flu from what is already prevailing in the market, probably in the society and the communities. So if there is any concern, I think it's at this juncture, I think it's clearly overblown. There isn't any concern.
Which sectors do you expect to function as primary drivers for economic growth in 2025?
We start off in 2024. There are some parts of the economy are slowing down. But if you see the drivers for 2025 will be largely agri related. We've seen a good amount of monsoon and we've seen a very strong agri recovery. Then again, I think government's capex has been slow this year, but the driver for growth next year should be government aided capex related sectors. And again, given that there is a lot of geopolitics and global tensions and all of that, I think India should also look at export related sectors as the engine for growth next year and even going forward.
So in your opinion, which sectors likely to be most resilient to global economic shocks in 2025?
There are large global shocks. I think India is probably one of the very few countries in the world which has a very strong inward-looking economy, like a domestic resilient economy. So I think if there are large economic shocks, I think consumption-related sectors will be at the top. Again, the kind of shocks that we are seeing are probably not the kind that we would probably see if there is a war or Russia-Ukraine war. But if it's more like tariff wars and external like global blocks being formed, India being like a neutral entity and so on, and it's probably one of the very few nations which also has a very strong political and macro stability, both in that case. So therefore, you will also probably see export-related sectors also probably doing relatively better off in comparison to rest of the world. So it should have less economic shocks in that sense. While it will have an impact, but India should be able to take advantage of the geopolitical tensions across the world in that sense.
Okay, so talking about global trends, how do you see global trends such as decarbonization and digitalization influencing our economy?
For India, I think both of these pointers that you spoke about, India has already taken a lot of lead. I mean, India is probably the pioneer in both of these. Like if you see decarbonization, India is doing a lot of steps in terms of renewable energy. And India is a leader, one of the leaders in COP29 and so on. I think India is already prepared and India is doing the right steps in that direction. Again, on the digital front, I would say India is among the leaders in the world. But of course, AI related technology. There are US and other developed economies are taking a lot of stride there. India will probably catch up.
Yeah, right. So, how do geopolitical tensions affect global and domestic economic stability?
We've seen, like, since probably pandemic from Russia, Ukraine, and so on, we've seen geopolitics has been at the forefront of global growth. So it has affected, economies. It has created multi blocks in the world, and multipolar world has emerged, because of that. But I think again, as India is probably at a country which is positioning itself as a neutral entity. We are not aligned to any of these global blocks, so to speak. So that's a clear positive. And India's inward-looking economy is a clear positive for India. So, if one way to say, we've seen the worst of the geopolitics already, and India being one of the emerging nations has already navigated through the worst. So we know we are prepared again, just like the HMPP, we are also prepared for geopolitics.
So, let's talk about the Union Budget 2025. So, what will make this a fantastic budget? What kind of announcements are guaranteed to put a big smile on your face?
Instead of a fantastic budget, we should look at a realistic budget. Okay. So while this budget is always a big statement, okay, and everybody looks at what is the big announcement. But then one has to see after the announcement what happens in the next 12 months, right? Execution actually is more important than making big announcements. And what we are seeing this year is a lot of disappointment in execution, especially on the capex front, right? And we've seen, like, year to date in April, you can call any excuses, elections, weather, state elections, center, and all of that, but that should not be an excuse to derail the growth path that was very bright before this. So we've seen that impact in Q2 growth, and even the full year growth estimates which came out yesterday is about 6.4%, which is below the 7% what we saw in 3 years. Of course, if you look at a CAGR from FY20, still the growth is like a 5% and improving trend. But the improvement should not be satisfied. India should not be satisfied with an improvement. India should look forward to the potential of what it can get through. 8%. When we can get to a potential of 8%, why should we be happy with a 6.6, even if it is the best in the world, right? So therefore, one should look for a more realistic budget. What is achievable, what is executable, rather than giving big agenda and then struggling to execute in the end of the year.
Is there anything else that you would like to put on your bucket list for the upcoming budget?
If you ask me, I'll say, debt taxation is probably one of the things that should be looked at in the budget. See, over the last couple of years, you have seen that incrementally, while equity, real estate, all of these things are being brought at par in terms of taxation. Debt investment is one thing that is being actually taken out of the entire investment list, and given a separate kind of a treatment and treated at par with other income. So this is the reason why I emphasize on debt, is that debt borrowing through various schemes is probably the engine for infrastructure development and capex growth. So capex funding is not just the central government's agenda. Capex is also like private capex, NAPFID, and all these entities also have to borrow.
So now, what is the last thing you want to hear in this upcoming budget?
Rather than what I want to get announced, I think one thing that I don't want to get announced is also that any shade of populism, right? We've been doing well in terms of focusing on capex and so on, but if we have seen that there are states which have got tilted towards populism, being elections or other reasons, maybe to boost consumption. But populism cannot boost consumption. It is growth that actually boosts consumption, and growth will come from capex more than revenue side. Revenue can probably give you growth for 6 months, and then again growth will start to slow down. But a capex spending will actually give you growth for the next 3 years, and we've seen that in the past. We've seen that in early 2000s, how capex spending actually triggered growth, incomes, jobs, and so on. So that is what should be the focus of the budget. That keep the pedal on growth, keep the pedal on jobs, keep the pedal on creating income, because there is a huge demographic dividend which India is looking at. And
thank you so much for your time, Anita. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.